up? I'm Britt Nicole. Today we are in Portland, Oregon, and I get the chance to talk with one of my friends, Ryan Lampa, about the organization that he started called People Loving Nashville. They're going out and they're being the change. They're feeding the homeless, they're clothing the homeless, and they're loving them. Can't wait for you guys to hear about what they're doing. Let's go. Ryan, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this. We've been talking with people about how they are being the change. I have a new song out called Be the Change, and it's all about being hope, bringing life to people, asking ourselves how we can go out and make a difference. So you are doing something that's making a huge difference, and I want to talk about that.
So we can just call this 7.5 years ago, almost 8 years ago. I was living downtown Nashville, and behind my house was an abandoned house. It was like totally condemned, and there's a back porch that was facing my front door. There's two homeless guys, that were living on there. And so my buddy who was working with me, used to work at the house together, he was like, dude, we should go talk to them. I'm like, I don't want to go talk to them. Because like, Christians, if you go talk to them, next thing to know, you're going to be like, they're going to be living at your house, and I'm going to be feeding them, and I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to be a Christian with a boundary, you know what I mean? Like, this is not what I want to get into.
Yeah.
And so he harped on me constantly, literally every day. Dude, you got to go talk to him. Dad, you got to go talk to him. I'm like, all right, fine, let's go talk to him. So literally crossed that boundary, which was that street that separated us, and went across the street, went over there and sat down with him and became friends with this guy. One guy's name was Sarge, the other guy's name was Ron.
Yeah.
And just fantastic older gentleman. I mean, hilarious. I mean, we're cracking up, like not getting anything done during the day.
Yeah.
So every day we'd go over there, and it ventured into or progressed into a friendship of like, I would bring some Gatorades over or whatever they needed. If they were like, hey man, I really could use a book. I was like, I got 1,000,000 books in my house. Here's a book, And so we just started a friendship. They later, the owners of the land knocked down that house. They were displaced. Sarge, I never saw again after that house went down. But Ron, he would stop by every once in a while. So he would knock on the door, say hi. So that went on for a few months. There was a time where I was like, I want to change Ron's life. I want to change his world, right? So I had been involved with like Compassion International and World Vision, and so I thought, I can just sponsor this guy, just like I sponsor a Compassion kid, right? So I was like, cool, I'm gonna go get $100 worth of $5 bills. The idea was, okay, I'm gonna present this to him. I can't wait. You come to my house, knock on the door. I'm gonna give you $5 every time you come to my door, as long as you give me a receipt that says that you bought food or water.
Wow.
And you can come back to my house 50 times in one day, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, awesome idea, right?
Yeah.
So, he knocks on the door, I present the idea, and he goes, and he slammed the door in my face. So I didn't see him for 2 weeks. I was like, what did I do wrong? Maybe he's not like understanding my program to change his life, So he came back 2 weeks later and he said, I knocked on the door and I was like, Ron, what happened? And he's like, Ryan, do you think that why I've been coming over here was for you to like fix all of my problems, my addictions, my homelessness, my poverty? You think I came here for you to fix me? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, Ryan, I came here to be your friend, and I came here for your friendship.
Wow.
And I said, okay, all right. And it was a gentle shutting of the door at that point.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I could say that God put his hand on my shoulder forcefully, and I literally hit my knees. And I said, God, I thought I was doing love well. I thought I was doing it well. But obviously, there's some things that I think need repairing. And so I asked God, like that moment, I was like, God, you got to teach me how to love, because I think there's more to it than what I think there is. And then, fast forward into like Thanksgiving time, we're like, hey, let's bring some food down to folks that may need it downtown. And we, I really had no idea how many homeless people were in downtown. So we brought a meal down there, and our hearts were changed that night. We went out to dinner and couldn't eat. We were like, what do we do? Like, we feel so like a burden on our hearts. And I was like, guys, let's do it once a month. Let's just feed homeless people once a month. And every time I tell this story, every time I say that, let's do it once a month, I remember the feeling inside my heart that said, once a week, right? Once a week. And I was like, I can't afford once a week. I can't do it. That first Monday, we said, fine, let's do it. And so we just jumped out and we did that. We just invited friends over on Monday afternoon, go to the grocery store with all the money that everybody could bring, and then we bought whatever food we could afford.
Wow.
And then we made it in my little kitchen. I mean, I had a tiny kitchen. You would laugh. I mean, it was like an office break.
I think I saw a picture.
On the video. So it's hilarious.
I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, two little stoves.
Right.
Like, most people would look at that scenario or situation and just say, like, this is impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible.
You know,
totally.
but for you guys to look at that and go, we can make this happen.
Right.
You know?
I think that's what we were like, let's just not think about what could happen or what could not happen.
Yeah.
Because this changed my life in ways that I could have never planned. And honestly,
you could have ignored it.
Yeah, and I can say that it's changed other people's lives, not from what I've done. Nothing. I've just followed. And I've seen it transform lives, not only for those that we're serving, but those that are serving, that are participating. But I thought about it like how we became the change. There was a change happening, I think, inside of us. And it was like we were talking about, like, kind of like a redirection of things, like realizing that we're not necessarily need to change people. That we're called to love people. We're called to feed people. We're called to give drink to those that are thirsty and give clothing to those that need clothing. We're also called to go visit those that are in prison. We're also called to be with the widows and help the orphans. We're also called to visit those that are sick. So all these like little callings are like, okay, how do we do that? And I think jumping into that, we were constantly being changed and redirected by the Spirit and by the Scriptures. And being the change, like almost there's a change happening in. So like I thought about that action where like being the change, you're like, okay, a change is happening, something's sparking, like say you're watching this video, you're watching these streams of videos, or you listen to one of your songs and there's something just like happens inside. Participating in that, being that change inside, allowing God to change you, I think is super powerful. And it goes beyond organizations of People Loving Nashville, or even Britt Nicole, you know, anything that has a name or a label on it, that can be the catalyst.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope that hearing Ryan's story challenged you. I hope it encouraged you to go out and to do whatever is in your heart to do. If it's to go out and do just what they're doing to help the homeless, if it's to work with kids, if it's to go help in another country, I don't know what it might be, but whatever your heart is being stirred to do, I hope today you're encouraged to go out and to be the change.